What is good? What is good, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of Sundays over here. Let me just make sure.
Yes. What's up, everybody? I got something special for Viral Beats today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sundays Viral Beats with I Am Me, the One Son. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for
Viral Beats.
He's been waiting to do that shit. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, so many, speaking of streamings and content creators and other content, Get Jervis is going on right now. Got my cousin over here, Akira Gold, still on the beatbox over here with the MPC and the RC 505 and all that.
Yes.
George. Whoa, those effects are high up in there. You guys will have. Yeah, for sure.
Let me turn it.
No, mine, not yours.
Okay, mine are good. What's up, guys?
You guys will have to forgive any audio discrepancies over here. We got a new interface, and it's a little bit better than the old one over here. So there's some adjustments that need to be made. It's a little bit more powerful than I thought, and
Viral over here showing off a little bit. He's showing
it's
out,
all
y'all.
for the
showing
better.
Showing out for the zeitgeist. Anything for the zeitgeist.
So here we are. Speaking of zeitgeist, we put the big old YouTube button on here because something that's been in the conversation for a while are content creators here within this YouTube space, and the I would say discrepancy between those who make music and the realm that we're in over here, in the niche of a niche of a niche, when it comes down to it, there's also even further compartmentalizing here. We'll get into that in a few minutes, but we've been talking about this for a minute, and we've actually addressed this a few times. So we got to get going on this conversation while we're going. So before we get into who are you listening to and who are you learning from music wise, and who is your influence, or who are some of your influences here within this space, let me introduce here our guest with the most over here. I am the one son. Welcome to episode 7 of The Sun Shining Again.
Good to see you guys. George, DL, man. If you get a minute, and anybody else who's joining or who's hanging out in the background, throw some comments in there. Hit that like button for my man Viral, but throw some comments in there. Who do you listen to? Who do you look at? Who are you following along on YouTube? Who are you learning from? Who are your influences in the zeitgeist?
Yeah, so before we get into all our perspective of it from where we're at right now, and kind of like how we met throughout a few of these channels or whatever, there are varying degrees, especially when it comes to making music. And you have the artist channels that kind of coincide with the content that they create. Anybody can have an artist channel. You just have to go to your publisher, and they give you the instructions on how to do it. DistroKid has a system. CD Baby has a system. I don't know about the other ones, and obviously the mainstream artists and everything like that, they have a system in place to get things going with that. And a lot of them do content, but most of them don't. And a lot of people like ourselves here exist within the space, and we have official releases that are published, but we don't have that musical note as Viral Beats, especially because we're, direct to consumer, but we're trying to get the virus thing going so we could do that as a music channel, and we'll probably just have to give that to one of the other channels. But what I want to do here is kind of exist in the space to where I have the artist channel, but all the work that we did here on the YouTubes kind of stays the same. So may have to separate them, maybe not, but that's neither here nor there. The question here is, who are you learning from? And we got the people that are just here to play the music, just to jam, and those who are here just to produce the music, and those who are here to educate on the music and the music business. But we also have this other element that consumes, I would say, the majority of the higher up space with the popularity of the numbers, and those are the content creators that don't really care for music in general, that are just within the space to try to capitalize off of it, and just are here to make money and establish relationships with companies, get free plugins, get free gear, and all that other stuff. I mean, there's a huge misconception of how to exist within the space doing music as a content creator, and there's a lot of people that think that it's just about establishing your connections and getting free gear. And I tell you, if you start off in that space going through it, you're in for a rude awakening, especially when it comes to those on this side who are here to make the music and talk that shit.
That's accurate. That's some accurate shit right there. That's some accurate shit. Man, I'm gonna let this develop a little bit before I start really having something to say. I do want to say that I looked at the comments, and what up, VP? We got one in there.
VP.
Word.
Welcome,
and DL, welcome, man, for sure. And DL, hey, man, I hear you, man. I hear you, definitely. That's a lot of ums. And I think the reason why I'm giving y'all so many ums is because
it's hard to talk about this without talking shit.
No. It's not so much that part. I'll just put it this way. we're gonna talk some shit.
For sure.
But I'm not going to mention any of these people by name. And guys, look, I want you to understand something, that it's not that I have any kind of fear of retribution or anything like that. Because please, we got ourselves a bunch of internet gangsters. Believe me when I say that, right? Okay, so, but what I am saying is I'm not trying to give some of these creative clowns more props and more attention and free press and all that kind of stuff and shine on their
No doubt.
I guess it's a brand, right?
Yeah, because that's how they treat it. Yeah.
Right. I guess it's a brand, but
we have to be treating it as a brand.
We're not going to be. We're not going to try to promote for them, even if it's bad press. We're not going to even give them that. We're just going to speak in very general terms, I guess. Let's go ahead and set up the rules of engagement, I guess. Right?
Yeah. So we'll try our best to not mention anybody directly, but you guys could pretty much infer from the places that we've been, and we are going to, in fact, on some of these places, name names, because in some spaces that exist, especially over here, there are some people out here that deserve the credit. And we were talking, we had to have a little powwow before this, and we talked for like an hour before this and kind of decompressed a little bit so we don't just jump on here and talk some shit. But we were talking, and I was like, yo, it's crazy because like Sarah Tuell is one of them. She.
Hey, we got folks coming in, man.
Oh, here we go. Let me say what's up. Apollo Hanzo, Carbon Vibes. I fixed the effects. Look at that. Welcome, guys.
Well, I'm about to bring the heat. What's up, Apollo? Carbon Vibes in the house.
I thought you were going to go, Hanzo. But yeah, so shout out to Sarah Tuell again. She is getting ready to do a master class lesson with Andy Mack over at Akai at Guitar Center in LA. Yeah. And
we're blowing up.
And she's still subscribed to this channel. We got her record that's coming in here that we ordered here. But it's stuff like that, she is a shining example. And the reason why we give her props and mention her is because
she's good people, man.
She's never got too big within this space to acknowledge the little guy or even just give a shit about a genuine music making, and she's been such an influential, positive force. And with her numbers and her clout and connections and all that, and musical instruments and all that, she doesn't have to do that, but she exists within this space as that voice of a positive reason, knowing what it took for her to get there and the things that she wished stepping into this space would have been addressed with her to make that a little bit easier to take when it comes to joining in on this space and jumping in on this space. We used to frequent with a lot of different channels that we don't anymore. And there's very specific reasons why those happened. And it happened very publicly. So it's not a mystery to most people why I was a moderator on this channel and then I'm not there anymore. Why I used to donate on this channel on a regular basis and then you don't see me at all, not even in the comment sections, because there's very specific things that happen, but those discrepancies and severing ties with those channels just was about.
Well, let's start getting into it.
Let's go.
Let's start getting into it.
Let's go.
But before we get into it, I do want to say, everybody, if you get a chance to go over to Sarah Tuell's channel, go pick up some merch from her. Go get that signed version of her album. It's like $99.
I didn't get the signed. I got the unsigned.
No. It's okay. But if you get a chance, go get it, because it's a beautiful testament to her, her work and commitment and things like that. And that's a beautiful way to like really personalize.
It's a solid body of work, that album too. You know what I mean? Like it's a solid collection of solid beats that is consistent all the way through. And it's great. Mozart 505, welcome.
Mozart. one half.
of the twin equation.
Also, shout out to Malo Beats. Before we had that whole discrepancy out there with
Malo.
our finances and had to dump all of our subscriptions, one of our channel subscriptions that we had to dump, unfortunately, was Malo Beats, but it wasn't him personally or any content he was running. It was just our finances running low or whatever. But it's funny because just getting this MPC One Plus, we're over here like I'm back over here, and just before doing this video, we were watching a Malo Beats video going through it. It's like,
Yeah,
gonna start
definitely.
frequenting his channel more. And we were just talking about this before getting on. So there's people that exist within this space, and Malo is one of those guys that I watched from the very beginning of his channel, from when he just started before, and it's been crazy watching his channel grow, but also his family grow and everything like
Yeah.
that. It's just been a real interesting journey, and these people that exist within this space on a very real level, EA Ski put him on his channel, talking about it, because of giving him his flowers and all that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Malo's a really chill dude. He and I only in the last year or so started to really like yoke up. But he's a really just a great human being. He's a great dad, great husband, very decent human being too. And he's pretty humble. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked out his content, please do. He definitely is a person who's worthy of, putting together, master classes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And it very well informed, very well organized body of work as well.
And it
So
was actually
definitely worth the course prices for that guy.
recently, who
Yeah,
was it?
yep. Miles got a great channel, and he deserves to be a lot bigger than his. Yeah.
For sure. And he's grown so fast. He's so polished now with the MPC, especially,
Mm-hmm.
when he started out with his channel, he just had the one and was just learning along with everybody else. And
Yeah,
now he's
and
teaching full classes and
yeah, he took his
comprehensive.
time. Yeah, he took his time, and he learned it. That's one of the things that I say is that, and I've always said this. You get a piece of gear. Stop worrying about getting that piece of gear and that piece of gear and that piece of gear and that piece of gear.
Yeah.
And you learn the one piece that you got, and master that shit
I
for real.
remember
Like,
I remember who it was now, not to cut you off. And
no,
I
you're
agree
good, man.
with you completely, by the way, on that. And it was Touchtone DSG. Touchtone
Word.
DSG has a good channel, and we're
Man, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
so he dropped off the content spectrum for a minute and is back, and did a live stream, which is real dope. Operculum, welcome. We'll get to you in a minute, sir.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, so he came back and did a live stream, and then he did some content explaining how, it was great that he did the live stream and, thanking everybody. But he was also making mention on how he had this MPC live too, that he
Mm-hmm.
just didn't jive with the workflow. It was too cumbersome from him. Basically, all the same complaints that the majority of us have, even those who use the MPC, still desired for a more traditional linear workflow when
Yeah,
it
no
came
doubt.
down to it. But he kind of put it aside, being a sound guy, by his own admission, a sound god. And
True enough. True enough.
he knows his stuff audio production wise, and we met at NAM in 2022. But in his video, he had mentioned that because of Malo Beats and his class, his comprehensive class, it sped up his workflow and his knowledge and his understanding by a few years. He was able to get in this one package, just doing this thing. It just knocked out all this learning right away to where he was able to get through and understand the workflow. So that's another content creator within this space who's dope. Touchtone DSG is he's got a true hybrid setup to where he's got the controllers that run like the SSL controllers, like the soft tube console one and all that other stuff. He's got a big six, not to throw his business out there, but his business is out there. And, he makes
Yeah, and
pretty good
and he's
beats
taking
from
care
what
of
I've
business.
yeah, for sure. And he's just on this space mostly as far as education goes. Some of us, it's like I said, are just here to make music and jam, but other people like Malo kind of fell into this create with me journey to, hey, I've learned all of this, let me show you what I've got, and to the point to where he's proficient, with his MPC. And, when it comes to a lot of these people within the space, we always big up Venus Theory. Cameron's been in the space since he was real young, and now he's grown within this space, and there's been so many moments and opportunity, and he's just getting into this
Yeah.
point to where, he did this game and he's doing this free pack. He's got the Aura series that he won an award with Music
Caught me off guard,
Radar.
though, man. Caught me
Yeah.
off guard. You said Cameron, man, and my inside joke almost slipped out. See, man,
Yeah,
you gotta
but
stop doing that. You gotta stop catching me off guard like that, dog.
see, and that's the thing too. Like, he's never existed in the space within the purpose of being ever like condescending or
Exactly. Yeah.
feeling like
Another
he's
one of those
better
decent
than
cats.
yeah. So like, he's just kind of done his own thing. And like, hey, I mean, he does these auras. If you guys didn't see the last bit of content that I just threw up a couple days ago on the premiere, not to plug my own shit or anything like that, it's actually Venus Theory shit, and it's free, the auras instruments, and it was basically, this is his fourth one, and he did this and just sampled a bunch of instruments while he was at the Sweetwater's headquarters and put it out for an instrument on Decent Sampler for free for everybody. Now, in addition to that, he's also got this, pigments pack that he did that's $40 that he collaborated with somebody else. But he's got all this stuff that he's put out for free. His first auras was the Polybrute 12. It was like, I think 10 or 20 patches of the Polybrute, and the way that he has things
Yeah.
orchestrated in his Decent Sampler plugin, it's just so comprehensive and great. It's like for all the people who can't afford a $4,000 Polybrute, there you go. You could have it for free, have a representation, an accurate representation of the sound from a world-class sound designer. And I say
Yeah.
world-class
Absolutely.
very intentionally
know,
because he's back out here doing the
Cameron,
thing for UVI.
shout out, man, because Cameron is a fine example of someone in our space that he has literally optimized his opportunities and done it in a humble way.
For
But
sure.
at the same time, you can always tell when someone is doing well, right? Because they will make time to give back to the community
Yeah.
with no expectation of anything coming back at them.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, and that's so. Hey, Cameron, man, shout out to you, brother. You and I like kind of saw each other in passing at a NAMM show, but there were like a lot of people like jocking you, so I definitely wasn't jumping into that crowd. Viral knows how I am, so but I'm not, I'm not that dude that's
Was
gonna try
that
to inject himself.
2022 when we passed
Yeah,
each other and didn't know it?
yeah. I think it was too in 2022, and it was just interesting when I did meet some of those cats, and they finally realized I was the dude from that name or whatever, and Yeah, that.
Hey, you're the guy
Yeah,
from the
some
comment
of the
section.
ones. Look, some of the ones we talking about.
You're
Those are
that guy
some of
talking
the.
shit online from the
Those are
comment
some of the
section.
sucker boys we talking about, y'all.
But yeah, and that's when I met Cameron. And that's funny because I didn't really frequent his channel that much beforehand. It was just like 2 or 3 months beforehand he had put out. It wasn't even that long. It was less than that. He put out an album, and he did this whole video, this content, and I think it was the first time he used that aspect ratio that he favors so much.
Yeah.
But it was this real like deep and profound going through the process of creation of this album. And then I bought the album and I listened to the whole thing, and it was crazy because he just happened to be step up to a conversation of who was standing next to me at NAM, and I was like, "Hey,
Hmm.
that video you did." And it's funny because I've been used to in the music industry having these conversations with like my heroes, like Tech Nine, Brother Lynch, like like all
Right.
these people that I grew up listening to and being like, "Hey," you know what I mean? Like I'm used to having that kind of relationship and having those interactions.
Right.
But it
Right.
was real dope with Cameron because we really connected after that. It was not meeting there in that moment, even though he was super humble and appreciative, especially seeing right up close, right after doing that video, like, yo, that video meant a lot because people don't do that. They don't go that deep when it comes to traveling down their workspace into creating an album, and the fragile of just everything. It was just so great. And but then after that, it was like a year or so after that we got the affiliated link and started going on this decent sampler route and everything. And we have conversations online every now and again, and it's just these moments. Ben Jordan's another one of them. This is, speaking of tying these two guys in together, and
Right.
they're
Right. Right.
spelunking in the caves, and them meeting together, and those two guys are an example of when two creators at the top of their level in the top of their space operating from the same space of that complete humble true to your being, and just like the love and just giving part to this community, and having those guys meet together and establish a relationship, and us all being there to witness it. There's also those moments, but there's also the bad that come with it, and here's where it comes. And and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we were
And
kind of pussyfooting
and
around this
why
whole
don't
shit.
you why don't
Ben and
you
Cameron, the ultimate
for
duo,
those
yeah,
who are
for
joining.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. I see you, Carbon. And man. And by the way, shout out to Carbon Vibes, because my
He's
man, you
everywhere
be doing
too.
like double, triple, quadruple duty as a moderator on, like, I don't know how many pages, channels you moderate, dog. But you up in, I see you on so many things, man. I'll step into somebody's channel, and there you are, Carbon. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like
I see Carbon Vibes,
Carbon
and
bringing the
we
vibes.
see each other in a lot of the same
Yeah,
spaces. Curtis
he's
Curtis
he's
King, he
he's
said I
he's
flow.
all over it, man.
Curtis King,
Nah, man, you
Ski,
don't
Sarah
float, man.
Tuell.
You immersed in that world, brother.
And
Immersed.
that's kind of the point of doing this, really. It's not really to talk about negatively about the content creators who create that negative space and this
Yeah,
chaos, like the
just
NPC gate shit,
just a few need to be talked about, but not by name, not by name.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the ones that are bringing the positive vibes, we definitely will be talking about name. Like, so I'm gonna throw out an example of a cat that I really dig. He and we speak a little bit, outside of the, when he has time, when I have time. We speak more about, like, just, personal kind of stuff and things like that. But shout out to my man, Accurate Beats, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah,
yo,
Accurate's a good
dude,
one too.
Accurate, you are the humblest cat in the world, and I just wanted to tell you, you the shit, dude. Your stuff is fire. I know you know Sarah Too Ill. I know y'all got a chance to go to that Native Instruments, gathering and all that kind of stuff. And man, yo, you rock the spot, bro. So like if you hear this, man,
sure.
yo, this is I am one son for real with my man Viral Beats, and yo, this is word giving people flowers. So
Shout out to
respect, brother.
Carbon Vibes here. 8 months as a level 2. And we took out the higher level
Yeah,
memberships. Level 2 is the highest it goes now over here. I said, I appreciate the creators and all the hard work they put in. I got nothing but love and respect. Salute for sure. And yeah, that's
for sure.
that's how I am the one son and myself met, and that's how we have met through, within this
Yeah.
space, regardless on, the negativity, the positivity and the positive people shine through. Shout out to Dr. Indy over here. I just saw him on Tony Black. Sorry. I have so many names in my head right now. Yeah, we were just on
Yeah, we got a
Tony
lot of
Black together.
names.
So hold on, here we go. Dr. Indy, welcome. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, very very dope stuff. And yeah, and that's another thing too. Like we find ourselves I'd Carbon Vibes is over on Tony Tony Black NYC as well. I see him
Yeah,
too.
my man is he is literally everywhere. My man is like a damn stealth pilot, man, or something, man.
So while we're going into the segue here, and the mention of Tony Black, he's one of them too. Who he his industry who stepped into this platform just to exist to share his knowledge and stories and all that other stuff. Like he's not here to grift. He's not here to sell you something. He does his work and makes his money in his
Mm-hmm.
music doing what he does. And the reality of the situation on his streams, he just talks. He just talks about it. I see Weaver Beats in there. I see so many people within the space of some places that I wouldn't think that they would be in there. And it's great to be like, oh yeah, cool. And when you
Well,
know that you got a good one if people
let's be
like
real.
Destructo or Carbon Vibes or it's like there's certain people that, like if you see in
Let's
there
be
you're like,
real
oh,
though.
that's great. Okay, so let's go.
Let,
Let's
let,
have it.
let's be real, man. Let's be real. Come on. There are certain people who are going to be left nameless, but even they, in the midst of their bullshit, and I mean bullshit, right?
I knew you
They
pull up.
seek catharsis too from those who are wiser than they are.
Yeah.
Uh, did y'all hear what I said? See, there are people that seek catharsis. Somehow they want to get rid of their whatever it is they're trying to get rid of, and
Yeah.
they do it precariously through the positivity or the greatness of others.
And try to twist it.
All right,
Hold on.
okay,
Wait.
all right,
Before you finish that thought.
go ahead.
Destructible in the house.
Welcome, sir. Yes, you heard your name. Yeah, the reason why I
Yes.
mentioned Destructo over here, is because he's been down with this channel since the very beginning of it. We spoke before, getting started on here, and that was kind of the whole point of this thing. Things changed as far as our communication with people, but not our communication with them, but the way that they received us once we started with the YouTube thing. Once we started with the YouTube thing, all of a sudden our screen name became different. All of a sudden there became a different definition, and maybe we were trying to get something going, piggybacking some clout or
Yeah,
some kind of
yeah.
crap, and it just changes into this weird thing. And that's where you learn this kind of crap. That's where you figure out, how things are on the space. I got another one over here. Trust my monkeys. Welcome, Trusto.
Got to think about monkeys.
First, I want to just preface this by saying, like we have said from the beginning of the conversation, is that we have a lot of love and respect for the content creators who, first and foremost, are musicians, who are artists, who perform their craft, who are in pursuit of constantly mastering their craft too. So a lot of love and respect to all of you in who live within that frame. And with that being said, there are a number of people that jumped into the YouTube space many years ago, and granted, I could have been in this thing a long time ago. I had people telling me 20 years ago they wanted me to have a channel. And I get it. I get it. Like, but me, I never been somebody that chases after things like that, right? Like I'm doing this now because I'm a much older man now, and I have something very important to share with people in regards to improving the human condition. That is the reason why I'm doing what I do, because we have a generation of young people that are lost in this world, and we need to be able to share what we know and bring them forward. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But what I will say for those people who are like content creators who they don't know what they are. They don't know if they're musicians. They don't know if they're beat makers. They don't know if they're producers. They don't know. And they'll just chase their tail and then try to convince you that that's what they are, whatever it is for today. So, I personally don't have time for that. And I think it's nonsense. And then, they think they're more important than what they really are. And then it's really a funny thing when you meet them in person and they, I'll just put it this way. I'm not exactly a little guy, but I just put it this way. When I was in front of a couple of people, it was funny how they're, and I'm a nice guy, Viral. I'm a nice guy, man. But yeah, they changed their tune real fast. It was like, you internet gangster, you. I'll just put it that way.
Before that, it was studio. Hold on, I got a couple right here. Hello. Teddy Bear Source. Welcome. Carbon Vibes. Thank you for the super chat.
Carbon, look at that. I like that, man. I
remember said once, consume content responsibly and with a purpose. This is important. Protect your energy. That just hits different. For sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
For sure.
Agreed, man. I concur, sir.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful what we surround ourselves with.
And that's the thing, like, I, too, existed at a time where YouTube was just becoming a thing, and being a moderator on deatherjail.com, some of the people that were involved in the development of YouTube.
Oh, hold on, real quick. Yo, look, hey, I just want y'all to know, one of the greatest DJs just joined us. Welcome, El Hundo in the building. What's up?
I thought you heard me. I kind of.
Oh, I didn't even hear you.
No, I soft spoke his name and kind of ran into Teddy Bearsaurus. My bad.
Oh.
I kind of do that with the intros over here sometimes, so I didn't mean that. My bad. I should have gave you a more proper.
You guys should go check him out, man. He's a hell of a scratch DJ.
There you go.
Yeah. My bad. There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
Proper intro.
So one of the things here, stepping into the space, we thought that things were kind of mutual when it came to people doing music. Like, hey, you do music on the space, you do music on this space for this purpose. And some people perpetrate that purpose as if it's their purpose as well, but they have these ulterior motives. They have these different agenda-based content that kind of floats around whatever kind of, situation they could make, a relationship they could build with the, with the companies, because they're in it to get the free gear and the free plugins and all that other stuff. And it's just
Man.
it's one of those things because those people are always trying to chase what is popular in the zeitgeist, not really coming up with anything authentic of their own. And then when all that falls apart and they don't have that subject to talk about, what are you going to do?
So
They end
let
up
me ask you,
switching content to
what
something
do you,
else.
but what do you think? Like viral, do you think like when you over there clout chasing and you chasing after getting gear, right? So so if you's a shill, right? Do they pay those people in shillings?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
So we were talking about this before this on our little preliminary conversation. One of those is what is the definition of a shill, and even though I know it was a rhetorical question or whatever, I condescendingly, answer, those who skew an opinion towards the favorability of a specific company or product based on something that they're receiving in return for it, because that's really
look at those communication skills, y'all. Oh man, viral, you get better, dog.
I just
You
spit
get
that definition out like nothing. But
I
is
love
that
it.
the real definition of it, though? It's like Sun said here.
It's
Well, we
real
get
close.
paid in shillings. A
Yeah,
lot of
because
people have to take this stuff back, and we were talking about it beforehand. I was actually just gonna, as a little half troll, gonna put on my Zounds shirt just to be like, yo, because I don't have any
yeah,
relationship with them other than the fact that I just had got this gear for them from them as of recent, settled my account, and they treated like no harm, no foul, and
and
just set me
you
up
know,
all over again.
facts. I was almost put on my Zound shirt too, but I'm gonna take. I need I need to
We're just gonna
shout out
troll y'all.
my man uh, EA Ski, yo, because to have people accuse EA of being angry that he wanted to get some free gear based on the conversation that he brought to the table, and then have the nerve to have some people try to call that man washed up or something like that, or an old
Crazy. That was
producer.
so
It was
insane to
it's
me.
so insane to me,
I
right?
couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe,
He,
and my own friends too. I was like, oh shit,
bro,
man. I
Ski
thought
man,
I thought you was cool,
love
man. I
you,
thought
brother.
you was
Okay,
cool.
I used to reside some time ago in East Oakland, California, right where you at, right? Shout out to Spice One and all the fellas from East Oakland, right? Used to cut here over on Foothill. Y'all know what's up. I'm not, there ain't no fronting in this game, right? So I will just say this. Y'all
Right.
should never have said the stuff y'all said to that man. Because I'm going to tell you something. If y'all don't know, if you don't know who EASKI is, I'm just going to tell you this. Fact upon fact upon fact. He definitely don't need no free gear.
That's what Teddy Bear
Okay?
Source
Do you, do
said.
you,
What
do
free
you,
gear
you
does
hear
he
you
do?
guys
He
hear what I'm
has so
saying?
much.
No, he don't need no free gear,
Hell no.
and he would never be the one asking for any. Okay?
Nah.
Trust me. Like, my man, he is. Okay? That man don't need nothing from nobody. All right, so y'all need to put some respect on that shit for real.
And the crazy part about we're talking about MPC Gate 2 here, by the way, which started on our channel. It's all my fault for putting together the Akai conversation video. But the reason why I put that video together
It was great.
is because there is a discrepancy between the people who have had the conversation about the MPC 1 sounding sonically exactly like the MPC X, which is freaking weird because this is less than $1,000 versus more than $2,000. So it's a conversation that has existed between audio professionals, beat makers, and everything for years, ever since the change of this, as the industry's been changing, as sound's been changing, as sonics have been changing. We've been having these conversations along the way, and to just attempt to reduce and suppress that conversation to what your agenda is, I just want free gear. It's like, nah, there's a whole world
Yeah,
that
I
exists
mean,
out here with
he
people
wasn't
that
even
don't
talking
exist for
about.
that
He wasn't even
reason.
talking about anything close to what they were talking about.
For sure.
I mean, my man's talking about the sound. He's talking about the converters, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about the components within, the flagship, MPC models that should have better components in them.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with the conversation. I agree with it. And I'm gonna tell you guys also, I'm not somebody and I'm gonna say just the way it needs to be said. I don't ride nobody's dick. Okay, so I don't like. I got respect for EA. Okay, I got respect for people in the game who have been in the game for a long time
Yeah.
and have proven themselves and done it time and time again. I don't mean like a one hit luck factor moment that you had.
Relevant through
Yeah,
generations.
yeah, exactly. I'm talking about people that are consistently doing it on a professional level and able to produce music that actually moves volume.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like let's just call it what it is, right? And it's like, the dude put in the time, the effort and the work and got the result, an
And
expected result.
and to double down on it, he also has the musical note check mark because not only does he
Yes.
exist within the space to do what he does, he has an artist channel. So all his music videos, his releases, everything is right there. You don't even have to venture off to his website to understand
Right.
this man's resume. All you have to do is look at his releases and see how far back they go and realize, oh shit, that's where that Grammy came from. That's
Yeah,
where
and
this
that's
came
and
from.
that's and that's what I said for the people that have like these like who might be serious amateurs or something, or not even real music producers. Like you make some beats, okay, cool. Like you don't really have an opinion. I'm just saying, if you saying you make music and then you got an opinion about someone like EA Ski, I'm gonna say this. I hope you can pull that Grammy out, your Grammy that you won, and be like, here's the proof of the work that I do. Because that's all that is saying. That's not a trophy for him to run around with talking about, oh, yo, I got a Grammy award. No, that's an award that says I've been recognized for my contributions.
And that's the crazy part too,
So,
because EA Ski is known in this business, especially within the hip hop community. He's gotten his
yeah,
flowers publicly from DJ Premier, from Sway on, and it's just like
numerous people, man.
numerous people on stages,
Shout
just
out
here and there,
Obi
like it,
and Ice T, excuse me, Ice Cube, by the way. So,
yeah, for sure. Teddy Bearsaurus says right here, why do you use $400 sound the same as $2,400 plus? He ain't wrong, and that's the thing about it. Even
yeah, yeah.
even looking at this MPC One Plus, I'm like, God, it's crazy that this thing costs more than a PlayStation and doesn't even have the processing to take over, like say, like an old iMac or something like that, like an
No
old
doubt, no
iMac from
doubt.
2007. So like just because it's operating within the space and setting little tussing up and everything has got me considering these things. But I falsely stepped in this space thinking that everybody was on like the same level of understanding when it came to doing music, existing within this space, talking about music. And I understand that there's differences just like there are in the industry and everything like that. But I didn't think that there would be like entire resumes of people being completely discredited just to feed a narrative in order to save face within this particular space. And I feel, ashamed that I even supported that type of thinking, and it felt bad that like after all this time, and there's been others to where you put your support behind somebody and realize that they're not the person you thought that they were. And not only that, you've given them financial support and just like because you really believe in what they have to offer and what they have said and done, and to just find out that, oh, you're one
Right.
of those
Some people are good
people. God
salespeople, man.
damn it. Yeah.
They're good actors. I mean, shit. If they don't get a Grammy, they might get an Academy Award or some shit because they are good actors.
That smoke and mirrors thing. It's a it's
Yeah,
a it's
man.
a
I
putting
mean,
on
and
the facial front in front of the cameras to be able to say, "Hey, look at all this stuff
yeah,
that I got here." And I know it's kind of
they
like what I
the
said last
same ones,
time.
man. They're the
Yeah,
same ones that will run up to you in them, like if they know you somebody or they found out you somebody, they are the ones that will run up on you, man, and be trying to get pictures and try to take a video with you and all that nonsense. You know what I'm saying, guys? So yeah, yeah,
the
don't
real
fall for the
clout
yeah,
chasing. You
yeah,
know, you
don't
talk
fall
about
for the okey
clout
doke.
chasing on here. When you get industry professionals meeting up in person, none of this YouTube shit matters. Even if you have
Facts.
the numbers to clear it, if you can't run a session to save your life, how many subscribers you have within the musical space on YouTube isn't going to mean anything. And that's where you
Yeah.
run into these issues with people. And I'm again not going to name any names here, but you have people that have just existed and produced for the sake of making a hit, and then they make a hit, and then they spend the rest of their career trying to chase that hit. They buy up all this stuff, they buy up all this gear, they do all this stuff, and everybody's like, oh, you made a hit, great, we should listen to you, we should listen to what you have to say, and you got all this gear, so we know what you're, and come to find out they're
Yeah.
trying to chase that hit again, and they're not developing musically and learning developing and learning how to function. They're just kind of winging it and then instructing other people's how to make
You know,
beats when they
they
don't even have an accurate
yeah,
representation on what
there's
real making beat making is about, because they
correct.
skip the line.
They don't even have like basic. I mean, and you don't even have to go to school for it, right? You could
No,
go on YouTube and learn basic music theory. Okay, like there are classes on YouTube that teach basic music theory, and there are
for
some good
sure.
ones, right? And then the thing is that it's also about knowing your lane, whatever, picking that lane, right? And knowing how to stay in it. Like for instance, people go, man, look at Marlo Beats, and he's so great at the MPC. That's because he picked the lane, he stayed in the lane. He didn't turn around and say, I've never heard Marlo say, yo, I'm a great musician. He has never said that. Marlo has said, I am a sample-based beat maker. That's what he said.
He said at the beginning,
Yes.
he was like, I'm a hobbyist.
Right.
Straight out,
But
I'm a
yeah, yeah, a
hobbyist.
hobbyist sample-based hip hop beat maker.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? He goes, I sample records, I sample sounds, and I, manipulate them, change the way they sound, and I rearrange them, and I put them to beats. And he continued to work so hard at that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's it. I mean, master your craft. These so-called content creators that are out there that are not so great, they are like those people that go to Baskin Robbins, right? What is it, 31 flavors at Baskin
Yeah.
Robbins? And they try to give you a scoop of ice cream that has all 31 flavors. And it's just all fake. It's like, dude, like I just want a scoop of chocolate. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. Like
Want
I'm
some
good
old
with
school.
just one flavor.
Let's start making music
Yeah.
in my computer keyboard. Pay people to mix and master. Yeah, good people. Yeah, I'll save. Yeah, and that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Like the good
Know your
people,
lane.
good people who exist within this space will not charge an arm and a leg to get their work done. Even what they are worth, they will not charge what they are worth. They will charge under market value. And if you
Right.
have that love and that heart and they see your spirit into it, I mean, it's like I said before, traditionally this game is run off an exchange of goods and services. You know what I mean? It's usually favors back and forth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even when it
Yeah.
comes to the
Yeah.
cars and clothes, a lot of these people, they ain't buying them; they're just borrowing them. And when it comes to us, who are making the music, who are making the sauce, and adding the
Yeah.
spice that we need to or whatever, we're all cooks in the kitchen, and
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to make it work the best we can. And if we understand that somebody has a skill that we don't possess that they could help us along with, we gladly accept that advice and go
Oh,
through with it and say,
absolutely.
yo,
And look, Teddy, hey man, know your lane, Sage of Ice, man. I see you, man, and appreciate you. And
sure.
Hundo, I was right there with you. I was there during that time with you, man. YouTube University, man. it's like, I will say I'm pretty good at using an MPC, right?
Yeah.
And I should be good at it, considering the fact that I've been using
Using
it
it for a
like
minute.
30 years, right? Whatever.
You better be
And
somewhat
yeah,
talented
at
on
least have
it.
a basic
Yeah.
knowledge of how it works, right? Like I have that. Okay, I'll say
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
I'm decent enough to stay in the correct timing and in the right key. I'll say that.
But
I
also,
can do
you've
that
learned some
at
tricks
least.
along the way too that only
Sure,
comes with
sure, right? But
experience.
look, YouTube University, and then I will tell you this too, and this goes out to everyone out there who makes music, who's a musician, an actual musician. This goes out to all of my beat makers who do sample based, beat making like I do. Yes, did I start out as a musician? Yes, I did. But the thing about it is, once I got into the MPC, I was like, I gave up the instruments pretty much. I just was like, oh, this is fun. I like doing
Fun.
this.
Fun.
So, and that's what it was. It was fun. But I want to say something that is important. All of you folks that are out there right now and in the comments and everything, if you're dope at something and we have an opportunity to sit down and I can see you working your craft, and I see that you're better at certain things than I am, and I don't know certain things, please, please, I beg of you, show me and Viral your techniques. Show
Yeah.
us. Don't covet it, and we'll do the same thing. I don't hold on to any knowledge because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm gonna, obviously get older than I am, and I'm going to die.
You're not going
And
the other way.
yeah, and I don't want to hold on to any information I have or knowledge that I have that I could
For
pass on and give to
sure.
other people. Like I
Yeah.
want to give it all away. When the good Lord has had His time with me here, I want to make sure I'm all used up. So
Mr.
you
Clark
know,
is Akira
word.
Gold. Welcome. Dope stream. Akira is getting down earlier on the MPC RC505. Yeah. So you guys who aren't subscribed, subscribe to Akira Gold over here. He's been slowly building up his channel, but most importantly, he's been getting that work in the downtime, and he's really been polished out here. And I really enjoyed his last stream, but he needs to get his subs up. Up in here to have more opportunity within this musical space. The reason why subs or subscribers matter within this space, it's because that determines ultimately how our content is being passed around. So the more subs that we
Yes,
have,
yes,
the more people that YouTube's algorithm will show, especially when it comes to offsetting some of these suppression algorithms that exist exclusively within the musical space of this
yes.
zeitgeist. And it's bullshit, but we all got to deal with it, which is the reason why we shouldn't be having a conflict in creating music on YouTube. But
Correct. And
unfortunately, there
let me
is.
say something to everyone about that. Look, guys, I know, people be feeling a certain way when they're watching a channel or watching a live stream or whatever. You know, there is no dishonor in you taking half a second to click the thumbs up button. Okay. It takes no effort. It's not money. We're all grown, like grown folks, right? We grown. At least I hope we grown folks, right? And even if you're a younger person, it takes no effort to do that. So just hit that thumbs up button, show that kind of support. Why? Because what we want to do is make sure that Viral's content gets put in the hands of as many people as possible. It's not so much about, his channel blowing up and all this money that comes his way or whatever, although he is deserving, by the way, I want to say that, of monetary success for what he does. Do that because you want to see that content go to the right places around the world, and that more people can learn from it, more people can then turn around and share that with people. It only takes one person making a particular comment that might change the course of someone's life. Okay, so
Yeah, for sure.
don't doubt the power that you have, the influence that you have. Even if you're not, you don't have 1 million subscribers, if you had really, let's say 10,000 extremely loyal subscribers that turn
Yeah.
around and share your content, you may be impacting more lives than you'll ever know.
And that's what
So
I
that's
really
what this
love
is really
about our
about.
subscribers here on this channel. Akira, you can, if you put your channel link into here because you have a, what you call it, we can't say wrench because that's a slur over there in the UK, but
Yeah.
because you have that moderator status, you can put your link of the description in the chat there, and I'll just go ahead and pin it, up there because there's no need to pin anything else. And VP, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate you.
Big
And
love, VP.
yeah, you're right on with that. And that is the one big benefit of this, not only YouTube space, but the space that we live in, as far as not only this zeitgeist, but just in general as musicians. The thing here is that there are so many ways to support artistry and decent, musicians out here, and those whom you love. Like, for example, here, Tyrone, you guys didn't see it because he hits us on the sly here, because over here in the super chats, YouTube takes a percentage. They take like 30%. Well, Cash App only takes a little bit less. They just a lot less actually, but they only take a little percentage or whatever. So some people donate on that end, and Tyrone has been a huge supporter of the channel, and he
Shout out
does it. You guys
Tyrone
hear every now and
Sellers.
again, we're like Tyrone, and he's like, oh, I don't see Tyrone anywhere, and he's donated to the channel or whatever on the back end. And with the last time we were on, I think when we were doing the blackout demo, he donated on the side, or it was when we were doing the unboxing, because I was like, oh, we're down
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
$3
yeah, yeah.
after ordering that skin. He hit it up with a $50 dono on
Yep.
the sly, not to put the business out there or whatever,
Big
because it was
love
not
to Mr. Tyrone
public.
Sellers.
You know what I did with that $50 dono? I got Sarah Tuill's
Absolutely.
record on wax, which will be here tomorrow, and I got the MPE expansion of the explorations for the Arturia, because having the Hydrosynth here still, I could use its MPE in its full potential or whatever. And yeah,
Hmm.
that added those two up. That costs a little bit more than the 50 or whatever that was donated. But that's what I do with the donations. I turn around and I get the things that are beneficial to the channel. I give the things and I turn around and I support. Somebody gives me a donation, I give two people donations. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's like I take it and match it and do other things with it
Yeah,
that
it's
always
important
build
to
up to
keep on
supporting another
paying it
artist.
paying it forward, right?
For sure.
And hey, Mr. Clark, just so you know, I went over there and subbed your channel as well. You'll see it as the DCM podcast. That is coming soon, guys. I promise you. We are in the midst of still
Oh,
recording
my bad.
with guests and getting a lot of content. But I will make an admission. Not that we want to really go here right now, because I'm not trying to,
Oops.
go too far. But I work in the IT industry, and I'm relatively very, very busy and all that kind of good stuff. So
There we
um,
go.
I'm trying to
Pinned.
get as much content recorded as possible before we actually start releasing content.
And for
Because I
those
don't
of
know when I'm going to get stalled out and not be able to. So
And those are just joining us here. The link that is pinned to the description is Akira Gold's YouTube channel. And
yeah,
we
go
found out
go.
through this space that we're cousins.
Yeah,
We found that out because we were organizing this trip to Nam, and our friend Destructo threw down to get Akira Gold all the way from uh, New York to California for Nam, and we did the damn thing. And during that moment, we found out, like, hey, this relationship, this surname over here, especially with the E on the end of it over here, that's one of the
yeah.
families related to our family over here. Like,
You know
oh
what? You know
shit,
what
did
might
you
be
know
crazy now,
that?
Byro? Now that I'm thinking about this, man, the fact that you said you and Mr. Clark are cousins, man, does that mean Mr. Clark and I are cousins because we're brothers? What?
Mr. Clark, are we related?
Crazy. Yeah, so shout out to Uncle Jerry's World too. He's been MIA,
Word. Uncle
so
Jerry.
we're kind of
Where's he
worried
at?
about you, man. Yeah, because he was gonna show up one time or whatever, and we're trying to figure out where the man is at. You know, it's been a minute here, so
Yeah, we're gonna be if
he
you
said it's all
hear,
relative.
yeah, no doubt, Mr. Clark. If we
Literally.
can find out something about, let's try to find out if we can about what's happening with Uncle Jerry, and definitely lifting Uncle Jerry up in prayer as well as his family. So
Yeah, and shout out to Paulo Hanzo just had a interview on the Symptoms of Reality show. You know, they do their interviews on Sundays, and they did a Paulo Hanzo this time, so it was interesting learning. I'm not in the chat as much as I used to. I swear I'm gonna get my voice changer out here one of these through it.
oh man, I couldn't resist that. Yo,
But
Hunzo,
yeah,
man, you know we love you, brother.
you know, I agree though, as far as things go, you know, for only playing keys for a couple years now, you know, it's crazy how much you've developed, and you know, it sounds great. It sounds great, you know, and I wish I could be that far into it, you know, and accumulate that much skill so quickly. So yeah, you're definitely on it. So
Yeah,
subscribe to Apollo
that's
Hanzo
about
as well. See,
mastering craft, man.
for sure. And that's what I
You
love
know,
about this channel because, you know, and that's what keeps me on this channel over here. You know, what keeps us going over here is the fact that we have a lot of professionals, we have a lot of other creators within this space who frequent this channel, and whether or not they're visible and in the chat, you know, at all times, or even some of the times, maybe never, I know that they're there, you know, some of them, you know, and a lot of you guys make yourself known, and I just really enjoy the fact that those who have the heart for it, who are really in love with this, are here, you know, and here to
yeah, no
stay.
doubt,
That's why
no
our
doubt.
retention's great. I think, yeah, I mean, we lost like maybe one or two subscribers in the past like 2 or 3 months, and that's crazy because how much we've gained during that time. You know, people stick around for solid reasons, for the same reason why we been
I
subscribed
mean,
largely to the same people all these
I
years.
think you probably lost some subscribers because one, they found out you and I was hanging out, number one. And the other part was
Talking
like
shit.
yeah, and then the other part
Let's see.
messed them up is because they was like they didn't think that Viral Beats was a rapper too. They really did not think that he was about that life, right?
Hey, I
And
wasn't going to be on this
so
platform and
and you
this
guys
channel
look, so y'all know Viral had him, right? He had him because
until I got my
he look
tattoo
at
redone. They're like,
look,
"Oh, what the
and
fuck are you doing?"
and you see the bit like the beard and everything, y'all. Like he had all of that, like he had that whole hillbilly shit type thing going on. They was like, he had him, and when he found out he could rap, man, he had him shook, man.
Yeah,
That it was
checked your
crazy.
bitch, Super Saiyan.
It was crazy, man. Like you'd be surprised how quick someone will drop off when they realize they got like some. He got like they look the white boy's the rapper. They got son over here, a damn political activist and shit. They were
Yeah,
like,
right.
they were
They're like,
like
"What the?"
this is. He was like, what's going on here?
They're like, "What
Like
in the
this shit was like
DEI is happening over here?"
shock and awe together,
You know,
And
it's
but this
crazy.
is my family right here, y'all. So
Stepping on this space, stepping into this space,
yes,
I didn't
sir,
have
Mr.
any
Indy.
delusions of people understanding what my backstory was going to be or is or whatever. And I know I'm still working on it, putting it together, and all that other stuff. It's going, but it's a lot. It's a lot of work to do this and create music. And I'll just let you guys know ahead of time, who are in the chat, who are listening and watching right now, we're about to take a couple weeks off and completely black out from the zeitgeist. Not in the comment section, not over here. Content we may do every Sunday, and that's it for 2 weeks or whatever. And the reason for that is because we got this MPC, and it's not to learn the MPC. It's to gather up all the sample material that we haven't gathered up, because the converted Tussin pack that we have is just the Fantom. We also have the Mini Freak. We have the pigment stuff. We have our cube. We have all these samples and stuff. So we're doing a lot of sound design stuff, and we just have to sit there and do the sound design. So when we come back after taking that time off, we're going to have a whole store's worth of preset packs. Those who are members of the channel are going to take advantage of some discounts. We haven't seen this guy in a while. Chicano, a.k.a. Champ Flexington, a.k.a. Sir Champ, a.k.a. Welcome. Good to see you, man. Yeah, long time no see. Come over here. Come on. He's sneaking his way in.
Yeah, a little
Oh,
Tussin.
yeah. He heard
his
Chicano.
moment.
Okay, so they can't see
needed his
because this so you got to get over here in this. Yeah, because he could see himself over here. There you go. What up, Champ? What up, Champ? Tussin just wanted to say hi to Champ because he heard Champ's in here. So, all right, go on.
Hey, and
We'll be done in a
hey,
second here. Love you.
hey guys, give me a moment, man. I gotta step away for 1 second. I'll be back momentarily.
Okay.
Un momento, por favor.
Cool. So, yeah. We wanted to get up here, and just because this is a part of the conversation, it's part of the conversation that has always existed within the zeitgeist. We've mentioned it a few times over here, doing everything that we've been doing, and you guys know because all this stuff has been public. And when you exist in a public space like this, it's kind of hard to not notice things or not mention things that you do notice. You got to go over here. Here we go over here. He wants to show off his Lego build over here.
I turned my bank into Lego.
All right, hold on. We could hear you. It's pointed at you now.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, so I turned my bank into Lego, as in I made a Lego bank. This is where the coins go in, and this is where the dollars go in. This is to keep the dollar place up when it's like sitting on the table or something.
So he's out here making full 3D print design elements with his Lego out here. All right, go.
Oh yeah, this is where
Hold
I
on.
put a little vent piece,
This is where he put the little vent piece.
and the vent piece is the push in stuff that won't go in easily.
And you could legit shove your dollar in there or shove a coin in there or whatever, and it'll go. It'll go to this little thing.
And then the vent piece is mostly used for the dollar. And also you want to fold up the dollar and then push the thing in using the
Cool.
vent.
Awesome. Great job, son. That's what he's been doing while we've been streaming. Okay. Careful. Don't hit the mic stand. He's got this little space to maneuver, and because I'm not using the arm, because how shaky this table is over here, we start learning these things about some of the stuff that we do over here and getting on here. And that's, the beauty of it. Most of us on this space, especially starting out anew, who aren't used to this sort of thing, we're all winging it. We're all figuring it out for the first time. And especially us starting out within this space, it behooves us to listen to those who have gone through the journey and help lighten the burden to some of the stuff that takes longer to take care of, and learning and accelerated learning and all that other stuff. It's a quick paced world, and it's a long journey. Like, we made it to those 1,000 subscribers over 2 years ago, and we still aren't financially making it an economically viable or profitable margin as far as existing on YouTube as a content creator. But we're not here to be content creators. We're here to do the music, and the music is going to be the financier of the things that need to be taken care of, not the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is just going to be used and has been used as like a method of going through all this stuff with the people, because we decided to really get on here in a meaningful way, because we were in the chats and meeting up with people and all this other stuff, and we decided, hey, we're going to take this Phantom and show it off and do this, not to show it off, but just to kind of take the journey together. And going through all this and realizing, especially in the older age, like, hey, I have, after all these years especially, have a valuable contribution to the space to be able to exist on it, and not only share my journey with you guys and exist together within this journey, but also share some of my experience and some of the knowledge that I've learned along the way before getting into this space, but also after the fact, because there's a lot of misconceptions stepping into this space, especially as a musician or a producer. And, you think coming into it that, it's just going to be a quick thing, or the music is so undeniable, the skill is so undeniable, the algorithm will just go past, and the popularity, as long as that's not how it works. That's not how it works, especially if you're starting out as a new channel. If you're not making that engagement happen, the YouTube algorithm isn't going to make it happen for you, not in the music space. Podcast space, maybe. In the reaction space, maybe.
And maybe. And those are all maybes.
Oh, wait.
Okay?
No.
Those are all maybes.
Not until after this.
Because that is, that's some real stuff.
Yeah,
and apologies, everybody, for me having to step away. Like, we got real life things going on. Like, you see Viral, he got real life dad stuff going on. And, we had some crazy person knocking on our door, and so I was like, bruh, don't knock on my door like that.
I want to take some time out here and just to address this over here, because it kind of reflects some of the space and some of the discrepancies here. Chicano over here, he has a channel. And he has a channel that he has existed on playing guitar. And you guys have heard it here on this space. He is a great, great guitar player. Yeah. And he had no choice, like a lot of us, but to just dig into the space and try to make it work. But this space is so unrewarding. It doesn't work for us in music if you don't have that support. And us small timers, us smaller channels can only big up the smaller channels in that enough. And it just doesn't work out. So it's going to be a year that I'm living out of my car in a month. A lot of personal growth, emotional growth, mental health. Had to take care of myself to rebuild. And that's all for the
real,
better.
Man. That's real,
for sure. But a lot of the pitfalls of going through some of the trials and tribulations that Chicano has went through, I could attest that a lot of it had to do with not being supported on this space. Because the algorithm doesn't pass your videos along. And even though he had people that were supportive of his channel and growing it, it's just enough to be economically viable to change the situation to, being able to pay your rent, and that's all of us want to do, the most of us want to do. And not to get on the financial conversation again, but that's kind of the discrepancy in which
it's okay if we go there.
Yeah, it is. And that's,
that's
and that's kind of why people make the decisions they do to exist within the space the way that they do and end up shilling for companies. It's because of the money, and a lot of it is greed, but a lot of it is circumstantial and necessity, so it would have been great, especially seeing all the guitars and everything that Chicano was jamming out with, for a company to be like, hey, I like the cut of your jib. I see that you're using one of our guitars, let's jam out or whatever. he's got to get his numbers up there to over 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 in order for a company to even take him serious. The same way that
It's so true.
Sweetwater, damn our growth, damn the fact that most of them are audio professionals who buy crap on a regular basis, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gear in our channel alone, and still, because we don't have 5,000 subscribers, they will not
Absolutely.
provide us with an
That's how it
affiliate link
works.
or work with us at all,
And
and it's
I
like,
mean, it's actually kind of disgusting, to be honest with you. And hey, Chicano brother, I want you to know, man, I definitely am lifting you up, brother, in prayer. And I want to see you succeed in a greater way. Too much talent to go to waste, man. And
yeah.
that's a realness. Yo, Hundo, man, how about engaging with viewers, subscribers? Man, we doing it, man. Right here, you seeing it. This is it, brother. Like here
Yeah.
and Discord and
Yeah,
and
for
having,
sure.
obviously your music out there and direct to consumer sales but you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta get out here and be in
Yeah.
front of the in front of the camera. You got to be willing to talk to everybody and engage with everybody and just like really build relationships. And you're getting used to it, man.
Take
And
care,
by the
Carbon
way,
Vibes. My
I,
bad.
I want you, yeah, yo, peace, Carbon. We'll see you when you get back, man. And I will say you guys will be seeing Hundo on an interview with me in the very near future.
Nice.
My brother's a phenomenal scratch DJ
Nice.
and music producer, sample-based music producer, bar none. Okay, so
I think in the end, the discrepancy and part of the problem is that we spend these years
Tyrone
in
to
our
the house.
careers as musicians. We do the long road, especially in hip hop. Tyrone Sellers, welcome.
You know I didn't miss you, Tyrone. Mr. Sellers.
We go through this life, establish these careers, exist within music, and we think that we could just jump on this space and make it work and say, hey, we already paid our dues.
To you, Chicano.
You have to pay your dues all over again. You have to start from scratch
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. And you also have to learn from scratch if you haven't learned already how to do graphic design. That was one thing that benefited us over
Man,
here.
you got to do so much, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And we are us having the graphic design business was what helped us along with that. I couldn't imagine learning all that for the first time stepping into this space, but there was still a lot that I had to learn, going through this. There was still a lot of stuff going through, and it's like, you got to pay to play. And that's basically, what it is. You guys see, that I just got some equipment here to get going on this album or whatever. And it's like, but that's not the first thing, obviously. And it won't be the last, because you need, different things to have your setup the way that you need it in order to be able to produce content, so you can't just put your head down and do the music like you would want to otherwise, which is why a lot of people don't jump on the space. It's like doing double duty at a job that makes you work two jobs, and then you only get paid one paycheck, and then that one paycheck is also an average of paychecks stretched out during like a 5-year time period, and that's pretty much the equivalent to what you get paid. You could say, oh, I get paid this much, and then you're like, oh, well, let me break that down in hourly, and it comes out to pennies on the dollar, not enough to pay rent.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people don't realize how, hard you have to grind to get to a certain level of success. That, and I'm not saying that all of the content creators that have like phenomenal success, I'm not saying all of them paid for their subscribers, although we know there are some
that did,
who clearly paid for subscribers, and so yeah, that's like that's weird in its own right, to even do that, but that's how fragile people are, man. They so bad want the bag. They so bad want the clout. They so bad want to be seen and recognized as something important
Yeah.
in a certain space. Like they, you know, I mean, like if you think about the original concept of YouTube, man, everybody wants to be a star, right? They want to be their own
Yeah.
star.
Yeah, and it's like it feeds into
They-
humanity's narcissism worse than being an
Absolutely,
artist does.
man.
So like being an artist already, we're on the top of our egos like, yo, we're out in the front. And then being on TV's like, yo,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
all up in your face.
exactly,
You
right?
know, like,
Exactly.
you know, getting in.
You have to listen to me,
Yeah, and that's the thing
right?
too. You know, you start getting some of these subscribers, and you start realizing, regardless on whether or not you paid for some of them, you know, you start seeing yourself in a different light and start believing your own hype in the perspective of things, and it starts changing you as a person. But those who exist within the music space understand how fragile these numbers are, and having these numbers in person and having these direct interactions with these large groups of people, we understand what that means. And it may feed to our ego a little bit when it comes to a little bit of stuff, but that helps us get the music going and proceed with that. But there's so many of us who exist within this space that are just true to the music, true to the artistry, and just taking the journey and saying, kind of like what we are doing with this channel, come look at the journey over here. I'll help out where I can. I want to share
Yes.
as much of it as possible. Here's what I can't share, and this is why. And these are all the discrepancies that exist within this world. And hopefully that's helpful enough for somebody stepping into the space to be like, okay, I got to watch out for this landmine. I got to watch out for that guy over there.
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
watch out for this over here.
Exactly. So what are some of the
Take care,
takeaways, then,
Trusto.
guys? Right? Oh, word. Trust my monkey. Peace out, brother. But you know, like some of the takeaways, right? You know, everyone in here, you know, is a grown, you know, adult person, and so we have to know, we have to be use discernment, right,
Yeah.
to pick our content, to decide who we're going to follow, to decide who we're going to listen to. And sometimes it's difficult to find out until you find it out, right?
Yeah.
You know, and again, I'll leave this person nameless, but it was really interesting having, you know, having conversations with somebody and then meeting them in person and finding out that they're nothing like what they presented themselves to be, for one.
Yeah.
You know, and when, you know, when they got pressed, you know, with some real world, real life situational shit, they were folding like a lawn chair under the pressure of it.
No doubt.
And they couldn't even, I mean, they couldn't even just stand there as a grown adult man and stay in the conversation, to have the conversation like a grown adult person would. And I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, I see what this is. I see what this is. This is, you know, I'm not even dealing with a man here. I'm dealing with, excuse my French, guys, but I'm dealing with a fucking child in a man's body.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what that was. And it's like, you know, I had to just walk away from that situation completely, you know, because, you know, like I like my freedom, y'all. Just put it that way.
Teddy Bear Services, people are crazy sometimes. People are crazy most of the time.
Man.
You know, whether it be
Third Teddy, man.
circumstantial,
Real talk.
environmental, you know, emotional.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's
you know,
always something making us fucking crazy
yeah,
out here for us.
Seek some balance, right? Seek some balance. It is just crazy. Like,
And that's why it always behooves us as musicians to listen to the positive end of this conversation, the Sarah Tuwills of the world, the people who exist out there and have the positive content. T Sketch Beats was on yesterday, last night, doing her 5.5 hours. I think she went yesterday doing her thing. And she's a tremendously positive voice when it comes to existing on this platform and just as a musician in general. Here we go. Renaissance. Welcome.
What up,
Saw some crazy dude down the block just a minute ago.
Man, they everywhere, bro. They everywhere.
Yeah. We're over here talking about crazy because there's some crazy motherfuckers out there. I wanted to pull that clip from White Man Can't Jump or whatever just to insert it in here as a little meme. I got time for that shit. You know, I didn't even have time to do the things that, like, it's hard to exist within this space and musically create. You know, those two things,
and
there's
have a
discrepancy and take care of a family. Yeah, there's discrepancies that exist.
And then if you got another job, like having another job, like all my delays with my channel, like, because I got to work a full-time job too. So
and it's rough trying to make it on this space, thinking that you could just convert your skill that you've achieved and worked so hard for all these years and just be like, oh, I'm going to put that towards YouTube. You can put it towards YouTube all you want, but it's not going to make your channel go. What makes your channel go is establishing these relationships and staying within your community and understanding the people who you surround yourself with are the people that big you up to make you successful. There's been times here to where we really, really needed it. And, a clutch, come through, and it was just like, I didn't even think about it because we don't exist on this platform for that reason. But it just feels good to exist. And then all of a sudden have the wind knocked out of you because, oh shit, I got to take care of this one thing because the homie over here, saw my grind over here and decided, that's worth me investing, in something that, I find that has value. And I think in the end, that's what we need to do. And Tyrone, if you didn't hear me earlier mention what I did with that last donation that you gave me, I got the Sarah 2L record, and then the remainder of that went towards the Arturia MPE expansion. And it was a little bit more. I had to put my own in to make that happen combined together or whatever. But it was the support because that not only supports one of the content creators over here that we know and love, but it also puts this channel in a leveraged position to do more content for you guys, because now I get to explore the MPE thing that I didn't have money for before with the Hydrosynth that
they'll take you across the finish line.
And that's the thing. Like I'm borrowing. She left me with it. I'm not really borrowing it. It's just like, but I'm borrowing the Hydrosynth, so it's at my disposal whenever I want to use it to pull it out. And I was like, hey, I could use MPE on this MPE and have a full keyboard on this MPE and do this. I'm like, the homie Tyrone, hooked it up right. It was just perfect timing, and it's just one of those things to where we got to learn how to balance the equation and help ourselves throw it together to where we could make it tangible for you guys and be able to exist. And a lot of being on this end of the spectrum, it's just difficult to exist. And I think that's where the discrepancy is, why you got people acting out, forming alliances with companies and stuff like that, like the whole Drum Monkey thing. And we didn't know any better about Unison Audio until after that fact or whatever. But and that's another thing. That's what that kind of situation, you live and experience these moments with other creators, and you're like, okay, and that's where some of these other content creators get some of these people, because you have these moments and you're like, oh shit, we trauma bonded with these companies like we all did with the Waves fiasco.
Have you noticed some of the mechanisms that they use, right? So like there are all these dopamine triggers built into the strategies, right? All of these game mechanics that are built in. So like
color of font.
So when you're interacting with certain creators, when you're interacting with certain companies, they created almost like there's an achievement system for you just having the blessing of being in their presence or talking to them, right? That kind of thing. And then what happens is it's so crazy because you look at them and you say to yourself like, wow, they're really, really not what I thought. You know what I mean? And they prove it time and time again. And you see them with these partnerships or whatever they have with some of these brands,
Yeah.
and the brands themselves don't even know that they got suckered, that they got.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Shit.
they're shisty, man.
You know,
They remind me of those like those really shisty, slimy salespeople. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like that's what they are. You know what I
And
mean?
those
Because
people were really
the
affected
con.
by NPC Gate too, because all of a sudden it turned this genuine conversation into this other conversation about this shaky platform, and all of a sudden the show conversation took over. It was very necessary. Out of that became, EA Ski's channel, everything that he did, the SB 1200 special edition. A lot of us trauma bonding over that shit too,
Yeah,
and
and
communicating
the
with one
other fact
another.
is, other matter is too, is like honestly, we're all like, and I'm not gonna speak for you, Viral. I'm gonna speak for me. Let me say we. I'm not gonna even say we. Me. Okay, myself. I'm getting far, far, far too old to deal with people's bullshit. And
Yeah.
and I
Nah, I'm
haven't.
there. I'm there.
Okay, cool. Because I have not, and I don't engage. Once I know it's nonsense, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to worry about seeing me
Yeah.
on your
That's
channel
it.
again. You ain't never
Yeah.
got to worry about
You cut
hearing
off.
another
You
word
cut
from me
off.
ever, like ever. It's a wrap. I don't have time. Do a complete, fully fucking formed grown ass man over here, right? So like I just don't have time for little boy games or little
Yeah.
kid games. Like the shit is just ridiculous, man.
It's like
And
Hobson said
that's
that I ain't
yeah,
got time for no bullshit when he did
no
that
doubt, no
video
doubt.
about
Shout out
Dame.
Hobson.
So this is and not to put these people on blast here. So this is kind of like one of the things that I kind of addresses some of the content creators within our space. So if you guys remember, speaking of Hobson. Hobson
Yeah,
was at the top of his game. He was 2011 freshman class of Double XL, I think,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
blew up after that. He did a track with Tech Nine on All Sixes and Sevens, I think, was the album that he was on there. The Am I a Psycho song. And there was a lot of benefit and his career and everything, and then he had this falling out with the person who ran his label, Funk Volume, and it was a very public fallout, and it
yeah,
happened
yeah.
in a
That was
real
whack.
way that really destroyed his career and had Hobson moving out to Thailand and everything like that, and a lot of the reasons why you haven't seen him. So after a while,
But he's still killing it out there though.
yeah, and
So
after a while, he came out with this song, the one that I just referenced right now. Ain't got time for no bullshit. And it was talking about the whole situation, what happened. It was, Hobson in a courtroom. You got Daylight as one of the reporters, up to him or whatever.
yeah,
They're all going, that's probably where Ice Cube got the idea to do the to do the
yeah,
church
and I
thing
want to shout
or
out
whatever.
Hobson for real because I got a chance to and Hobson, hopefully you will see this, man. I actually got a chance to meet you, and we were speaking for a little while, and I just want you to know you really impressed upon me yourself as a very knowledgeable and mature man because you were
For
actually
sure.
older than most of the youngsters that were up at
Hmm.
this thing. It was Mission Underground, Los Angeles. You'll know what I'm
Oh,
talking about. It was
nice.
Mueller, right? So, Hobson, if you're listening, brother, hey man, big respect out to you, big love to you, man, and appreciate you, brother. And I will be heading to Thailand soon, so hopefully we can connect, brother.
Yeah.
Hobson.
So what happened was the person who ran Funk Volume, his name's Dame.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is a familiar name that we've heard around the zeitgeist over here, but not anybody that you guys would know or think about. Well, that same very Dame is now associated podcast on with DJ Payne One. So
Right.
DJ Payne One and yeah, three people on the podcast, I believe, and he's kind of starting this distribution type deal or whatever. I frequent them every now and again,
Yeah, shout out
DJ
Pain
Payne
One.
One. But this is the thing that we're talking about here. And later on, Dame and Hobson met with one another in a public forum, and they hashed a lot of their issues out in a very public way. Mutually agreed to disagree. I think was the ending of that conversation. But the point being with all that is now Dame is in with this space of content creating musically and everything like that. He hasn't made music, and I'm not talking ill of him and speaking bad about him or whatever. It's just the fact of what happened, and how things were.
Right.
Things happen with the Hobson thing, and he's obviously existed within the space and have learned some things about the industry to be able to speak on that when it comes down to it. But that's not what he's doing on this platform. What he's doing on this platform is speaking on other industry stuff that ties into the streaming platforms that promotes his company. So he has an agenda-based content creation platform, and he attached himself to a notable beat maker who exists within the space, DJ Payne One, and they are collaborating together. I'm not saying that Dame is beyond redemption, everybody gets a second chance and all that other stuff, but you could clearly tell from the way that they conduct themselves on the podcast that he exists on the purpose of selling his product and doing what he does. And I'm not knocking that. People exist within the space and do what they do.
They're there to make
past
money,
history. Man. Yeah, you're here to make money, make your bread how you make it, do what you got to do. But a lot of us within the music creation space remember what happened to Hobson and how it happened with Hobson and the fact that Hobson took off to Thailand because of things being what they were and knew exactly with the whole thing on and how it became. So, what about that? It's just the reason why I mention this is not to throw shade at one side or the other. It's just to point out the differences between the types of content creators you have out here. You have content creators, you have musicians, and you have everything in between. And everybody has a different agenda. But I think for most of us that exist within the space of attempting to make it work on a musical level, we all find each other, but we're the minority. The majority are people who step into the space and attempt to sell a specific product and have agenda-based content, and a lot of them have to do with the allegiances that they make with the companies. The companies, because I could have started out right away, in bed with Rowan, in bed with this, in bed with that, and done this content to skew towards getting the attention of these companies to say, hey, I'm a reliable source of enough to bring you guys in, to bring these numbers in, to be a content creator, to get free gear and to do all this stuff. But that's not why we're here, and that's not what a lot of us are here for. A lot of us are just trying to make our way through this platform and exist on a music level. And I think in the end, it's us over here, party over there. Y'all have your party over there, just like the music industry. We have our haves and have-nots. We have the party over here, party over there. When it comes down to it, we're trying to exist in a very tangible way that dispels all that marketing of somebody else's musical product, because we're existing for the sake of promoting our own musical product, our music, our people's music, big up those around us and all that stuff, which is kind of the opposite of what they're doing. They're selling one product or a group of products, whether they're a conglomerate or not. They are there for a very specific, very tangible agenda, and they need content creators and musicians within the space. But one of the things that we're benefiting these companies without even knowing it, we have knowledge of it, but, the marketing, them understanding our discrepancies and what we're going through, and even if we're talking shit and being contentious here with some of our gear, they're like, hey, this is a problem that we had. This is what they're talking about. They're talking shit about us over here. They're doing this. And they find out through the development and figuring all that stuff out in an indirect way, but not having any kind of close relationship that would be financially profitable or anything to maintain a living as a musician. Like if we're going to exist as musicians, we have to exist to make the music, not to create the content based on the tools that make the music, is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get at with all that, really,
Yeah, no. It really made a lot of sense. And the thing about it is that what people don't realize is that most of us who create music, put music out there, we're not getting rich off that music, guys. It's just
Nope.
like the
Especially with streaming
yeah,
platforms.
yeah, like the way in which that this whole game is set up. This game is so rigged. So what do you got to do? Direct to consumer. Number one, of course, you want to do that. But there's got to be other streams of revenue. So like it different. In other words, you're going to make you make your money from different aspects of your talent. So like for
Yeah.
instance, with viral, like he will do a release of the album, and then he's going to be doing a whole bunch of live performances. See, the thing is live performance is where it's
It's
at
king.
when it comes to giving back to your fan base and also making your money normally. Because
Yeah.
then there, you're selling your merch, your shirts and things of that nature at the show, but you're also, making a certain dollar amount off of ticket sales, right?
Yeah.
So, it really, I mean, it is what it is. Hey, welcome back, Carbon Vibes. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. You gotta definitely, diversify how you make money as an artist. So like even if I make music, for instance, right, I may turn around and write a book and say, hey, by the way, in this book, I'm gonna go over some of the methods, techniques, the journey of how I was able to, put myself in these positions in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And that might be like the the guidelines for other people to follow. It not necessarily is going to work for one other individual or not, but it may give them a basic concept of how to navigate that world, right?
Yeah.
And then you make money because you diversified what you're doing. You're not just doing music; you're doing other creative pieces of work.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And that,
in the space, right? That all is related to what you do.
yeah. And that's kind of the reason for like the affiliated links. Like people just want an affiliate
Yeah,
link because they're like,
yeah,
oh, well, I do this work or whatever. People may have their opinions about the affiliated links, but like seriously, like it's a percentage of a sale that you would have made anyway. Like you would have bought that anyway. The
right.
difference is do you want your favorite content creator to get a percentage of that because they were the
Exactly, part of that
the
sale.
influencer, the deciding factor on whether or not your arm was twisted on that NPC or whatever. And
Exactly.
that's how this works. It's like I said at the beginning with the if favors, the exchange of goods and services and everything like that. When this is a favor-based industry more than it is a monetary industry. Most of the money that comes and circulates within this industry is all the outside sources, and the internal sources is just favors. A
Some
favor
of, yeah,
this, a favor
exactly.
there. So
Some of the best teaching that I ever received about music, came in the form of those favors that you're talking about.
for
Like,
sure.
where, back in New York, like there would be, somebody who was well known for, making, break beats or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, and the crazy part is, I would be like, I talk to their cousin or whoever, right? And be like, hey, can you ask so and so if I could come down to the basement and and check out what they're doing? And they were like, why do you want to do that? Because other people weren't into the process. They
Yeah.
want to see the end result, right, of what we do.
For
Like we
sure.
had this conversation before.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We had this conversation before where people aren't really interested in our process. They're not interested in how hard we have to work to get somewhere. But then they want to see that end result. But me, when I was a kid, when I was coming up through the ranks and stuff, I wanted to be down there, in those basements and watch this person, mastering their craft.
Yeah.
And they would literally then, when they saw the interest, they would then take the time and go, yo, come here, man, check this out, shorty, boom, boom, boom. Like, look,
Exactly.
this is how I do this, man. Like, yo, and I'm like, oh man, you only got that many seconds, and we're like, yeah, well, let me show you this technique, and like, like would play like the record on the turntable, instead of at like 33 and a third, play it at 78 RPMs. And next minute, you got more time stretched out on that thing. The sample was actually longer.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, back in the
Yeah.
day. Now, of course, you can sample a whole entire album, but, you know, back in those days, that's how, you got around and had workarounds and figured out how to make it do things it wasn't designed to do, right? So,
Well, it's just like what I learned when I was 13, I want to say. It was either 13 or 14 years old. One of my DJ friends, I'm not even a DJ. I wasn't a DJ then. I wasn't inspired, but I was a rapper and I was doing mixtapes and stuff like that. And he had showed me this technique and he said, okay, this is how you play a record backwards or whatever. And he took a spray paint can because he was also into graffiti and shit like that or whatever. Put a hole in the top, to stick on the thing where the record goes or whatever. Stick the record on top of that, and then use the needle and put it upside down or whatever. And then it plays, but it plays backwards like that
yeah,
Beastie Boys, Paul Revere.
yeah,
So you're not holding it the whole time. So
whole
it's
time, exactly.
consistent.
So,
It's consistently playing, so you could do a whole backwards beat or mix with the backwards beat. And it's like I was like 13 years old, 14 years old, and I was learning this technique. Just
yeah,
some random thing. One of my random DJ friends was telling me, and it just kind of stuck with me all these years. But it's just like what you were saying. It's like those moments of being shown, like, hey, this is how you do this, or check this out, or just real quick or whatever. That shit sticks with you, especially if you're
forever,
interested in the
man,
stuff behind the
forever.
scenes. So, to
Yeah,
your point,
each one teach one, man. I mean, that's what we
exactly.
we really are here for, man. And a lot of people, they don't, they don't want to embrace the concept, the idea, of learning from other people too. That's another thing too. You got like a lot of folks that are really they want to stay in their ignorance, man, for some
Yeah,
reason or another,
yeah.
But I would say, guys, look, for me, I think we about hit everything, right?
Yeah, and it's a good note to end
So
on too, the each one teach one, because that's basically
yeah,
how we survive, not only in this
absolutely.
industry, but on this platform specifically. I mean, there's other platforms and other stuff, but the reason why I put the YouTube thing up here is because this is where the conversation exists, where it gets kind of shaky, because we have whole channels out here that exist within this music zeitgeist that have nothing to do with music other than the fact that they have associations with companies that give them free stuff. And in order to maintain that level and to receive their contributions from affiliate links and the
Yeah.
amount of support that they get from the numbers and the algorithm and everything like that, they exist solely for that purpose. But there's a whole other side to it. There's a whole other side of artistry. There's a whole bunch of jammers out here. It's crazy because in the just few weeks of me participating in hardware jams over here, I got more direct support from comments, subscribers, and everything
Hmm.
within that community that I got in the previous 2.5 years of being on this platform. Now, the previous 2.5 years, all the people who've joined up and been a part of it have been a part of it. Like Carbon Vibes, he did his 8 months here with the badge over here, being a channel member. He's been on for a minute. Destructo's been on from day one. It's like I said. A lot of our friends here along the way. We've existed in these friendships before establishing as a YouTube channel, and then
Hmm.
being this far into it. Chicano's, another one, and going through it all. It's just we are here for each other the same way that we are here for each other in music, and you just have to find the right people who are here for the music and not here
Absolutely.
just to line their pockets or to
Hmm.
become the big man on campus so they could yell at somebody who is way more schooled than them. Even you can't even be fooled by their age because we're talking grown men here. We're talking people that are our
Exactly.
age that are in their 40s and 50s
And
yelling at other
like,
people.
yeah,
And you're like,
grow up.
oh, shit,
Yeah,
you
grow
know?
up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, it just goes to show you that when it comes to toxicity and when it comes to growth and development, you stay the same in who you are down the line. And if you are this way now and you always were, you're always going to be that way. So when you see people with a genuine heart that really believe in their music and the music of other people and
Support
support
them
in any way that you
that you
can and
can.
that they
Exactly.
can, it's not just about money. You could just lurk in the background, just like Chicano's like, yo, I've been lurking, yo, and I know he's been lurking in the background too. And just like us over here, every once in a while his membership will falter, but still he'll come back and rejoin. And Chicano has
Yeah,
been there supporting this channel, even with his financial circumstances being
no doubt, no doubt.
what
And
they
to
have been.
and I wanted to just say, Chicano, listen, we did actually talk about that a little bit earlier, and absolutely agree with your comment about not wanting people not wanting to teach and share and all the
Yeah.
gatekeeping and all that good stuff. That is so true because one of the things that I had mentioned is that yes, you've got these folks out here who try to covet all of the information. I mean, literally, there was a guy that I know. He was a very high level music producer, and this young dude asked him a very simple question while we were in a session, right? And he literally was like, "I'm not telling you shit." And it was like everybody in the room just kind of turned around and looked at him like, dude, it's like you're a dick, dude. Okay, like it was a simple question about how to mix something,
It's like go to
and he just
school,
yeah he just wanted to try to learn from one of the great
get your accolades
masters
up.
at the craft, and the guy was like, I'm not telling you shit. Like basically, like and then when we looked at him, he was like, yo, that's my secret sauce, da da da. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Like I told young dude, I was like, because I knew exactly. See, I don't claim to be someone who can do great mixing, because my man Viral is that's the mix master right there. But
I
I'm
appreciate
saying like I
it.
got some basic rudimentary skills, and the particular thing that kid was asking, I knew how to do that, in my sleep. So after it
There's
was
no
all said
reason
and
for him to
done,
gatekeep such a fucking
yeah,
this
yeah,
is a
and
trivial
I
piece of
kept him in there, yeah,
information. Yeah.
exactly. I kept him in the studio after everybody left, and I showed him, and I sat down with him for like 45 minutes and explained stuff to him, so he could go on and build on his own skill set, But it was just like, man, like wow, like that. I mean, it really is like that.
And that's the positive that
Sad
comes
too.
out of these negative experiences because
Absolutely.
there was a lot of positive that came out of not only NPC Gate 1, and I remember I saw Akira's comment earlier on how he's having flashbacks of that. NPC Gate
Mm.
1 is when Akira Gold's NPC Live 1 bricked because of that update. And that was when we had the
Yeah,
Live
yeah,
2 over
yeah.
here. So yeah, we've been going through this whole thing, but yeah, I think a lot of the positive that comes out of the negative on this platform kind of exposes some of these people for who they are. I quote that because some of them,
Yeah, I
a little
mean, and some of the,
weird.
and they, I mean, they know who they are. Like, the
For
thing is,
sure.
they not only do they know who they are, they also know that
We're on to
we,
them.
also other people are completely correct about what we think about them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they don't care because they're getting a little bit of paper or whatever from YouTube or whatever the case may be. And the thing is like, me, I've always had a thing like this, man. As a human being and as a man, it's like, my wife has always told me, she said, hey, you know what? I don't ever want you to do something or operate in such a way where you can't look our children in their eyes and speak true to them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, shame on you guys, like, and gals, out there who, like I said, you decide to live in that manner.
Yeah.
And you got families, you got children. It's like, so what you gonna do? You're gonna teach your children to be that way too? So come on.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
matter how big you get,
wow.
and especially if you've been existing in YouTube for a certain or in music for a certain amount of time period, you understand that, numbers don't mean shit. They come and go, and you got to keep the interest as long as the interest is there. So if you just exist within a real genuine way and support within a real genuine way, I think that's what shines through. But, it's like everything else in the music industry. It's a long haul, and attempting to skip the line by either creating a hit and
Yeah.
buying up a bunch of equipment to try to, make yourself somebody on YouTube, or, thinking that you're somebody on YouTube because you existed your entire adult life on YouTube and no other kind of, existence out here, those things start to weigh at you. But the weight that carries it all, though, is your love and desire for music shining through. And if you just stay true to that, your relationships will follow, and the people that
Mm-hmm.
you interact with will also be cut from the same cloth. And it's
Agreed.
difficult to function and maneuver through a zeitgeist where there's so many wolves in sheets clothing and all this other shit, just so to speak, and you have these discrepancies with these people, but they're exposed through their activities. You don't really have to mention them by name. You don't really even have to
Exactly.
mention them by action, even though if I say NPC Gate 2, there's a whole
Yeah,
level of
yeah,
context
they
that
know
comes
who
from
they are,
it.
right? And so they,
Waves debacle. There's things that exist within this, musical sphere, and you're just like, it just remind everybody, oh yeah, so that's why this is that, and that's why that is this. So I think, we just need to do, I wouldn't say better, it's just we need to do what we can to support who we understand to be there for the right reasons, who are not there to just sell you a product to rip you off. They're there to sell you a product because they worked so hard on it, and they want to make sure that you have access to this level that we're all playing at, or that we're all trying to play at. So, the selling our own product is the same as sharing it, in a lot of ways. So don't feel bad and think, oh, well, you're just shilling your own product. Well, of course I am, because how else are we supposed to exist on this space? Because if you're not shilling your own
exactly.
product, you're shilling somebody else's product, and then you're in a
Definitely.
totally different
Yep.
headspace after
Yeah,
that.
either you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else. I mean, somehow or another, we all got to make our money, right, guys?
For
So either
sure.
we are working for ourselves, we are either, look, I'm gonna look at the camera. We are either working for ourselves or we are literally working for someone else.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not a lot of other options on this earth as humans, right? So
Yeah.
let's support each other. Like let's all support each other in what we do in this creative space. So definitely, I think we should definitely do somewhere, share everybody's channels and
Yeah.
links and everything. Let's do
Yeah,
something special like
we'll get a
that.
going
Get
list.
a big
We'll
list
get a
and
running
put
list
it in the
going,
Discord and
and
everything.
we'll all do some
Yeah.
group Zoom or something like that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
like
yeah.
fucking
Let's do
100
it. Hey,
people.
if you guys are down for a group Zoom, throw that in the comments. Let us know if you're down for that, guys. To jump in there with us, and we'll have a real, conversation, and we'll yoke up as men and women can do.
And those who are trying to make it within this space, just know that it does get easier as time goes by. Like, just because I think it was DL shot us over the top, so we crossed over our 100, and we just got paid recently for that. So instead of getting paid once every 3 months, now we're down to every other month. So that's pretty good. They're incremental steps, but they're not so incremental when you exist within the space of music. They are monumental. They are huge. They are the relationships that we forge, the music that we make, these profound moments that we experience. It's all a matter of what we invest in ourselves and the people that we involve ourselves in. And as long as we're involving ourselves with the right people, regardless on how difficult it is to see at first. Eventually, that kind of bullshit gets exposed, and it's just us. Those who existed continue to exist and will continue to exist as long as we can, because we realize here that, as artists, that as long as your existence is there, we're here to exist.
Definitely.
So,
And to
like,
share
we
and
got
to
to do what
grow.
we got to do while we're here, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And I just wanted to share one last thought from my side is that, and guys, don't be afraid, okay? So really let go of your fear about, being on YouTube, having a channel, sharing your skills, your craft. Everybody has something to offer, and I can tell you that, yeah, and everybody got a past too. You may not have always made the right choices in your past, and there may be haters out there and people that will troll and all this kind of good stuff. But you know what? Keep pushing and keep learning and keep growing. Don't be afraid to step into your own greatness. You can be completely forgiven for your past discretions. Okay, you don't have to exist in that. Okay,
Yeah,
because sometimes fear keeps people from being able to do this, like sit in front of a camera and do
for
this
sure.
and kind of expose the core of character. But it is what it is. You're gonna have people. They're gonna say things. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. Whatever. So what? So what? Just keep pushing forward, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and on that note, yeah, we have fulfilled our time here with everything. I appreciate you guys over here for sure, and having these moments. They kind of naturally work
Yeah,
out the way that
yeah.
they do every single time. And yeah, I just got to stay true to it and do what we need to do moving forward, no matter what that is. And having these conversations is definitely of a great benefit. And I want to thank you personally over here for being a part of these Sundays, and over here, everybody in the chat. It seems like we have the same audience every Sunday, and the regulars that
Which
are
is
here,
great.
which
Yeah,
is
blessings,
great.
peace and blessings to all of y'all. For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys showing up here, especially because Sundays are really popular days. We stuck to this time period because it's exactly what we got to do here, being on the West Coast with the both of us over here. But yeah, don't hesitate to reach out either. If there's something that you guys need, which I know, not gonna like me putting him on blast over here, but our friend Davey the
Oh,
Hug
yeah.
Monster lost his interface to PreSonus. PreSonus made an interface that didn't last more than a year, and discrepancy over here kind of needs a new interface. So uh, we're not doing like a
Let's
whole
put something
public
together.
thing or whatever,
Put
but
something together.
I was like, I hit him up on the side. I was like, yo, can we do something like maybe some kind of, I know maybe not a fundraiser or something, like, can we do something or whatever to get you a new interface? Because I know that there's enough people here within this space, we could help out one way or another. Without an interface means not the ability to stream. You could tell, Davey the Hug Monster been streaming like crazy. So without the ability to stream, that shuts down the channel. So the only way to clear up
Yep,
that discrepancy is a new interface. So I
absolutely.
understand the modesty of not wanting to reach out to the community and not wanting to go public with it. However, against the wishes, semi, because like it was like, okay, if we could get a hold of
Exactly.
something and work something, those in the Discord, hit up. Let's try to get something together, and something like this SSL over here, that we just got over here. But there's discrepancies here. Being across the pond, there's certain VAT, which is a value-added tax, which is the
Yeah,
the thing that they have over there across the pond. So it needs to go directly over there. So we need to figure out some way to get this person in our community a interface to replace the Bubkiss PreSonus that didn't last for shit. So I say you can't do
We're
that, my
gonna get a
boy
different.
Davey,
We're gonna
like
get a
that.
different
Yeah, see,
brand.
there you
We're gonna
go,
get a different brand.
different brand. And
Yeah.
you know, and when we were talking earlier, it's like, yo, you know, something like what you were looking at. So
Getting
you know,
like a Focusrite even.
so, but the thing is that just I think like it's only like what $150 difference. You can get that SSL 2 plus,
There
or
it is.
just the regular
There it is,
SSL.
right?
Yeah, it's like $150 difference just for the regular SSL 2. So, you know, let's try to help a friend out over here and get something going. A lot of you guys here are in the Discord. For those who don't know, we do have a private Discord over here. It is reserved for members. A lot of you guys here were grandfathered into it from when we first started. Our channel memberships are going to be even more beneficial because us taking this break here, we're going to have a few weeks of sound design. Oh, we got Cash App. Oh, we
Yes,
looking
yes,
into
we
it
do.
now.
Yes, we do. You
Yeah,
got Cash
so
App. Hey, let's get Davy's Cash App up in here, man.
So if yeah, so you got yourself the moderator and the super moderator status. I think we could do that in the
Yeah, I think you can post. You could post.
yeah,
up
because you could
his-
post links and I could clip it so we could all just flood the cash out. And can you imagine sleeping over there across the pond and then waking up, be like, yo, I got
And you
enough
got
to
enough
get my
money for your
interface.
yeah. That would be super dope. That would be super dope.
Let's
So-
let's indiscriminately donate to Davy's Cash App. Okay, before we get off, let's here. Let me try to find it over
What's
here.
yeah? What's Davy's Cash App?
Yeah, if you don't find it, I'm gonna try to find it over here. So Davy, let's see,
Is it Davy the Hug Monster?
Davy,
also on
Davy
his
the Hug
Cash App?
Monster. Yeah, so Davy the Hug
All right,
Monster.
let's
Okay,
see.
so I'm going over here and getting through.
Let's see.
Davey didn't want to do a whole thing, but just being modest because doesn't want, you know, the whole thing. But, you know, we got to look out for our community people, especially when a whole ability on YouTube is being prevented from being able to move forward. Okay. Bandcamp, more. Oh, okay. I see the Bandcamp and the Hug Monster YouTube. Okay. So no Cash App. It doesn't. So, okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
see a Cash
So
App.
I don't see any. I thought you were saying that as a statement, not a question.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Ooh, I have an idea, though. I know the PayPal. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's what's
yes,
up.
on PayPal. Hold on. And the reason why I'm mentioning this and we're doing all this right here is not only because of the deserving of it. Davey is a channel member, one, and that's not the reason why. But let's see. Where is the thing here? Show history. Okay. Come on. I don't want to do the thing here. I just want to do the because it's making me do shipping label because well, no, not doing that. Grr. Okay, so there we go. Let's see. My bad, guys. You guys will have to forgive me over here. We're trying to hook up a friend here and seeing the information on it and see, and it shows up different over here, and that's why I don't understand why it shows over here. Okay, so let me see. Because when I go into the thing, and it's just because PayPal is being a shit right now about things. So I always do have Cash App because that's what I use. Yeah, so okay, so it's in my contacts, but not my thing. Why can't I just pull up the person? It just shows, it goes through and shows all the history and all that other stuff. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump in this a little bit later to do that because it is.
Yeah,
giving me
it
a
looks
little
like
bit
we're
of
going to
a
figure it
problem.
out and we're going to get kicked out of Zoom over here. Sorry,
Yeah.
Davey. See, that's what it goes
Yep.
for going. So he's in the Discord if anybody wants to reach out directly, and we'll just I'll just send it to you. Oh, I was okay. So making can you post it at all? Can you post the Cash App on here? Because you could post links on here. Because I don't have I didn't know he's got Cash App going. But yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
if
be pretty
he's
cool.
yeah, if he got a Cash App, let's
Yeah, so
let's share it.
if you could post the Cash App in there, and then we'll post the link or whatever. That way, everybody could just indiscriminately
Just start sending stuff randomly to
throw
him. Yeah,
whatever. You know, can you imagine waking up to that? So good. Okay, so we'll figure it out over here, and yeah, and we'll just kind of pass it around and do it that way. I think Tyrone is listening. Oh.
he's gonna send you the money to send to him.
Oh, okay. We'll discuss all that in private and figure out what we're gonna do. And
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, listen, everybody.
yeah.
Really enjoyed this time with you guys, and Chicano, really nice to meet you, make your acquaintance, brother, and glad that you actually popped inside of the into the chat and everything. Awesome.
And we're gonna hear a
everyone
lot of
else
his
too.
guitar playing too, because I have a sample pack
can't
loaded
wait,
into my
man. Can't
MPC.
Oh, I can't wait. I would love to get some of your guitar into my MPC, and man, we will create magic. Indeed, Carbon.
For
That's what's
sure.
up.
Yeah, appreciate you guys again showing up here. Make sure you guys leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, or just keep lurking if that's
indeed.
what you're gonna do. I guess the priority here is reaching out to Davey and see what we could do.
That's hilarious, man. That's
I would
great.
like to do this before he wakes up and be like, "Yo, we got you."
He'd be like, what the hell?
That'd be dope. Anyways,
Yeah.
we will be back here next week. I will put the announcement out for what our schedule is going to be like, because that's a totally different conversation to have. But we will determine whatever the conversation is going to be. We will be back here regardless on what the schedule of the channel is going to be for another episode of Sundays with I Am the One Son. And we will be back next week for episode 8, where we will be discovering some whatever we decide the conversation is going to be. And, you know, these segues have been going one right after another and kind of been all relative and related to one another. So we're going to be able to accumulate all these into one nice little package for you guys.
Yes,
It seems
indeed.
like,
Yes, indeed.
you know, it's going to work out. So take care, everybody. Love you guys.
Yes,
and until
indeed.
next time,
Much love, respect, peace, everybody,
take care, y'all.
and we're out.